People seem to be surprised about the news with Martin McGuinness. Why? Is people's memory so short in this country? Or are they just trying to play stupid? I can understand whenever the conflict was whenever the IRA was heavily involved in murdering people, that people were afraid and they ignored issues and hoped that they would go away. But this issue about Martin McGuinness, why is people surprised? Let's start being truthful here. We all know what Martin McGuinness was and is. Now, we've been involved in exposing a lot of things. We were involved in exposing Scappaticci. We were laughed at then. I went to Scappaticci's door with a writ, along with another fella, and the writ was put through the letterbox at his house. Now, that was back in 2005, was it? Whatever it was. Scappaticci was one of the Nutting Squad, which was in charge of internal security within the IRA. Out of the 6 of them, 3 of them worked for British intelligence. Now, that's fact. Now, we've exposed all that. You're now hearing again it raised at the Smithick Tribunal. Who got the Smithick Tribunal going? We did. We have raised the issue about Martin McGuinness' involvement in numerous atrocities, and also another member of his family that Martin used to carry out numerous attacks. Stop pretending and playing with our lives. You've played with our lives for 40 years. Stop treating us as fools, and stop treating the people of Northern Ireland as fools. The biggest show in Northern Ireland, the Stephen Nolan show, couldn't even raise the issue this morning. Our Deputy First Minister can say whatever they want, but don't call yourselves genuine Christians and don't call yourselves good God-fearing people, because yous are propping up a mass murderer to govern over our people. It's morally wrong and it is scripturally wrong. So please stop pretending you don't know what's going on. You know only too well what's going on. But the other thing I want to move on to, this talk about fuel and about this needs to be done. And I sat and I watched representatives of Sinn Féin on speaking last night on TV, and they were saying about the duty going on to fuel and the whole rise in the prices of fuel. Let me tell you this. It's quite simple. You could save 10p a litre of fuel if you would actually go into South Armagh and deal with the amount of fraud and smuggling and laundering of fuel that is going on. Now, I just, over the last couple of days, have been up around South Armagh, and people say, what's this got to do with victims? Let me tell you what it's got to do with victims. These people have to keep a fear in our community so they can operate these operations, that they can run their smuggled lorries down through South Armagh, that they can run their petrol stations advertising their fuel. And whenever you see 136 a litre for diesel and then turn that into euro, you'll see it's working out about 119 a litre. 119 a litre. Now, these petrol stations are advertising this on the main roads in South Armagh. They aren't hid away in a shade. On one road here within a half a mile of each other, there's another petrol station, and they're advertising their fuel way below the price. And then when you turn it into euro as well, it's way below the price. But the best one that's advertising, it's on one road, Eden Upper Road, there's 3 places, they're just shades, but they're on the side of the road. You pull in and fill up. You'll see the price here. Now, it was 90p a litre. It has now went up to 95p. A novel rise there, and the boys had about 5p on a litre. Now, but if you can get euros, it'll cost you €1. So it's either 95p a litre or €1 a litre. Now that's the reality of what's going on. And then we have Sinn Féin sitting talking about 3p being put on a litre. There is millions being creamed off by the Republican activists in South Armagh who are being given the cover by the threat of violence, and that's why they're not allowed to go in and touch it. This is the laughable thing. Not only are they selling it at the 119 a litre, they're claiming the VAT back on it. So if somebody goes in there and fills up their car and it costs £70 or £60, they're also going back home and claiming the VAT off it if they're VAT registered. Not only that, the station that is selling it is claiming the VAT back on it as well. Millions upon millions is being creamed off and nobody wants to do anything. But the British taxpayer, it is costing you millions of pounds to keep the terrorists happy, to keep the peace process on course. Now, I'm all on for peace, but it has to be a genuine peace, folks. Now, you are continually trying to ignore us, you're trying to bury us, you're trying to do everything you can to discredit us. All we're asking for is to be allowed to get on with our life, is to have the right to seek justice for our loved ones. And you won't give it to us, but you will give it to the terrorists. And there's a list which I will show to you very shortly. I can't show it to you at the minute, but there's a list of money that's been paid out, and it is millions. I'm not talking about a few thousand or 800,000 that everybody seems to be jumping over the moon that the Orange Order got. That is buttons. Millions have gone to prisoner organisations, and whenever we have put a stop to it, they've come in this last 2 years and undermined us, and while they've been doing that, they've been allowed to fork out millions once again, to the terrorists. But let me tell you this, we want to move on in this community, but we will not move on and allow our dead and our soldiers and our police force to be demonised by the IRA. Other people want to do it, go ahead and do it, but we're not going to do it. And the other thing I want to move on to is, again, how we've been treated. They've tried to discredit us. They've put in audits, they've put in police investigations, they've put in, you name it, they've tried it. Because this organisation is run by victims, for victims. It is not run by people who want to come in and get a job, or people who see a gravy train and they jump on it. FAIR is run by victims, for victims.